Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarapal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your underdog, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Today, we have a gorgeous blonde geek on our show who's terrified of heights, loves fantasy, the swords and the dragons and the magic plot twist stuff. She firmly believes that Metallica and Michael Bublé can coexist. She's an avid video gamer, and she has a black belt in Taekwondo. With that amount of fun happening in your life, you can bet that we're going to have a whopping time in today's show. So without further ado, please help me in welcoming Maggie Giele. Hello, lovely lady. How are you?
Hey, good. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm so excited that you pronounced my name correctly on the first try. That never happens.
I was just like, oh, shit, I forgot to ask you how to pronounce your name. I was like, oh, I'm just going to wing it. Just go, oh, naturel. Hey, so I was reading a lot about your bio and everything, and I thought, oh, I'm going to start off with this one. So I've tried myself to play Minecraft with my son on the Xbox. I suck. I just suck like big time. But I've never been a video gamer because I don't know what it is. I don't know if I have the patience. My grandmother used to play Donkey Kong.
Oh, wow.
At her age. She always used to sit on the bed playing the Donkey Kong, and the cousins used to fight her for it. And I'd be like, no. What I wanted to know is, what motivates you to play video games? That is so interesting. What kind of video games do you enjoy playing?
I've been playing video games all my life. Like, one of my earliest memories, I was 4, sitting next to my dad while he played Doom, and I would be telling him, like, go left or go right. But my mom was going for night classes, so we would sneakily, I wasn't allowed to see Doom for my mom's permission, so was quite sneaky. I play a lot of fantasy games, anything with swords and magic and like bow and arrow, elves, that kind of stuff. I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, Potter. So with video games, I love that, the world that you can escape to in video games with that fantasy element. So I'm not into like Counter-Strike, for example, like first-person shooters. I think I can't deal with those games. But when you have that story, that plot element, you can I get really drawn to the characters. Like, I want to see them, this is going to sound so nerdy, but I want to see them succeed and slay the dragon and rescue the king or whatever. And I guess for the gaming nerds, I play a lot of The Witcher, Skyrim, Oblivion, Assassin's Creed, the list goes on. I just started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the most amazing game ever. It's your robots and bows and arrows in the future. So
I find it fascinating, the people that create it. That blows my mind, absolutely blows my mind. But I just know for myself, when I sit there and I'm playing, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I can really imagine that because I like to incorporate whatever our hobbies are and our interests into our businesses as well. And I can really see how that can influence your business style as well. Like, if you're slaying dragons, I can imagine the dragons could be, so I can just imagine whilst you creating strategies and everything, who's going to be the bad dragon? Who am I going to slay? Oh, that's a really cool, I can imagine that's really cool imagination when you're going within strategy.
Yeah. So one thing is that I'm adding a lot more gamification into my services and into my products, what I provide. And I'm having so much fun with that.
Love it.
Where can I make it more fun for you? Not just give you homework or action steps to do, but that you have that same sense of excitement, of completing a plot in a video game. When I talk about dragons in business, I see them more as psychological dragons. Not, for example, not your competition, but all right, how do you get over this block of visibility, for example? How can we slay the dragon of fear of visibility, for example? And what can we do to get past that so you can get to rescue the prince and get to the castle?
That's so cool. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to clear out the closet here. What is digital strategy by definition, and why is it so important?
No one ever asks me that. That's really cool. Digital strategy is creating a plan and a path for your online business or online-based business to get to your higher end goals and to your vision. That's what it is to me, very, very simply. I think it's pretty straightforward, but there are a lot of different elements that fall under it. Digital strategy is like a great, massive beast that needs to be really broken down, and it's different for each person, for each business. So that's where it's really, really important that you do a lot of work on your digital strategy, like your vision, your dream clients. What do you actually want to achieve with your business? Not just in terms of like financial or numerical goals, but where do you want to see yourself and your business in a year? Like, what do you want to create? How do you want to be remembered? And from that kind of bigger vision, like this is how I structure my process with my clients as well. From that bigger vision, those bigger goals, then we can break down how can we actually get you there as soon as possible without you wasting time or energy or money.
Yeah, because time is money.
Yeah.
Were you ever challenged by businesses who were adamant that digital marketing is a load of rubbish? Did you justify your expertise or you just let them be?
Interesting. So none of my clients have ever had that, because if they come to digital business and marketing strategists, they already know that they need it or they think they might need it. There's already an element of that understanding there. I also have a lot of clients who've said, I need to improve my social media strategy. And then I look at their business and I'm like, okay, your problem actually isn't your social media strategy. It's that like maybe your services and your audience, your targeting don't match. So that's what we need to fix now. That would be like the biggest thing I think I would need to educate people on, that understanding of like, why do you actually need to understand your dream clients? It's not just for a vision board, or it's not just so you have like a paper you can put up in your office, but it literally affects your return on investment. It literally affects how you actually can grow your business. I have found, and this is probably because I live in Germany and I say I do online marketing and everyone assumes that I do like Google ads. Yeah. That's kind of it.
Exactly.
And that's the kind of people I'm like, no, this is actually like all the things that are involved. This is what I do. So that's like the biggest one that you mentioned. Yeah.
I've definitely encountered that as well in the German-speaking countries. So Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. When you say you're doing online marketing, exactly that. Oh, so you do Google ads. And I'm like, no.
Or colors.
Yeah.
It's to do with colors. I'm like, no.
Because, and it doesn't get, also just generalizing here with the people that I have spoken to, they tend to see digital marketing and strategy as not credible enough compared to marketing. They see marketing offline more credible. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I have my point of view. What would your point of view be?
Well, I do online marketing, so I'm all for the internet. You know, I work internationally. I've met like one, maybe two of my clients face to face. All of my clients are online. So I very much understand the power of harnessing the internet to grow your business. However, I do get that a lot of, especially in the German-speaking communities, that they feel that offline marketing is more powerful because that's the traditional way of marketing. But I believe in getting really specific with who you're speaking to. Yeah. With offline marketing, it's a bus stop ad, so whoever passes that way, great. But if you want to get more specific and you're really trying to attract and speak to a certain kind of client with a certain psychology and certain personality, then I think online marketing is the way to go.
Yeah. And you've also got a lot of experience because you speak 4 languages, right?
Sort of. Sort of 4. I'm bilingual in English and in Czech, although Czech is my mother tongue, but my English is better than my Czech. Don't make me write formal letters in Czech. It's just disaster. I literally sent like forward emails to my mom so that she corrects my Czech for me first before I send them anywhere. I also speak Dutch at a pretty advanced level. I lived in Amsterdam for 4 years. My husband is Dutch, and I'm some German, intermediate, let's say. I can communicate. I'm happy with that. And it's like my 4th language. I'm like, I'm done learning grammar.
But that's pretty, I mean, I know for myself, I love languages as well. And it doesn't just open your ears, it changes the way you form your mouth. When you're speaking to different people, their cultures, their language, how to speak to them, the etiquette that you do, you know, you lived in Asia as well, it's completely different. So when you're doing online marketing, it's the same as marketing offline. I mean, there's really not much difference because you're still communicating with people or human beings that you're communicating with.
I think this is something that I feel makes me a lot stronger in what I do because I've lived in so many places. And I've always kind of, like, we weren't expats in Singapore. I went through the local school system. I had to, like, I was forced to integrate, or like, if you want to make friends, you're going to have to talk to people and you're going to have to figure out how this culture works and how you need to approach it. And Singapore and Amsterdam are pretty much polar opposites. In Singapore, you'd never raise your hand in class. You don't want to say, you don't really want to speak. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. And above all, you don't want to make a mistake, because that's just embarrassing. So that's the kind of culture I grew up in. And that's how I thought as well. And then I moved to Amsterdam when I was 21, and I was suddenly surrounded by all these really tall, loud Dutch people. And I was used to being the loudest in class. I was completely terrified. So it was like a totally different culture of like, and I literally had to say, okay, during like the lunch break at this lecture, I'm going to go talk to this girl. She looks nice. I'm going to ask her this question. I had to force myself to make conversations. I was like, otherwise I'm just going to be a hermit and not talk to anyone. So I think that understanding of different cultures and nuances of communication, like how I would say something to a Singaporean would be very different to how I would say it to a Dutch person or to an American. And I think that really helps me with how I approach online strategy, online marketing, online business, because of all these nuances you need to have in place when communicating to a wide audience and trying to get specific at the same time.
I love that.
I'm such a nerd. I love it.
My kind of gal. I love that. Hey, so I read somewhere that during your beginner years of business that you worked on your website for 4 months before kind of completing it. And in the beginning, many entrepreneurs DIY their stuff because A, they can't afford to outsource, or B, they wouldn't even know what to outsource. Now, when did you decide this is enough and I need to hire people to build my empire? And who did you hire and why?
So with the website taking me 4 months, that was just pure perfectionism, and it was absolutely fear of stepping out and starting to talk to clients. I could be safe in my bubble of like, my website is not ready yet. So that's all on me. I then started hiring contractors for certain projects. I realized quite soon that my graphic design skills are non-existent. Although I really enjoy spending time in Photoshop and playing around with it, it's not worth my while because it takes me hours and it looks like crap at the end. So I started working with designers here and there. And at the beginning of this year, I finally hired a virtual assistant. I should have hired her months before. And I hired her because I realized that my return on investment for my time was starting to become significant. I was booked out with clients. I was still doing everything myself. I was spending a lot of time, formatting newsletters or blog posts or sketching social media. And it was just getting too much. And I was like, you know what? If I can take 2 hours a week and use that to improve my client process or to improve my own marketing or to do more podcast interviews or something, like that is something that that time then becomes much more higher impact than me spending those 2 hours, sketching social media or formatting newsletters.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that, and I let my clients know that as well. Online, it's not normal that you'll charge per hour, but I still ask my clients, what is your hourly rate? And they'll be like, I don't know what my hourly rate is. I have no idea. And I'm going, think about it. Like if your rate is 80 euros, dollars, whatever per hour, is that worth it spending all that time on something else when you can pay someone $20 or euros, whatever, for a VA, or 25 or 30, whatever, to help you with your stuff so that you're more productive in whatever. Yeah. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, wow, a lot of people don't see this because we don't speak about it as well. It's just like, it's more of a self-worth thing. Oh, I can't hire somebody because it's going to cost.
I'm not ready. Yeah. I don't have my income isn't that consistent yet, or it's going to be expensive. Or what I see coming up a lot as well is I don't want to spend money on activities that don't make me money. So people don't want to hire someone to sketch out their social media where they don't see them making money from that social media. So that's why I'm like, yeah, but that time that you spend sketching out your social media, you can make money with that time. Yeah. You're not doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking about strategy, what's the difference between good strategy and bad strategy? In fact, I'd love your take on the spiritual world's take on marketing, where you find the answers within and then take inspired action. What are your thoughts on this?
Sorry. I'm not really a spiritual person, to be honest. I'm not really in the spiritual world or the business world. From my understanding of the spiritual online business world, a lot of people don't seem to focus on the actual goal of their business, which in the end is to make money. Like, you're not a charity. You're not doing this stuff for free. You are trying to build a business so you can make money so that you can build a better life for yourself, for your family, or your children, or have freedom, or travel more. And I feel that with my experience with people who are in the spiritual business world, they tend to really focus on giving it all away and like literally all, like build free 30-day email courses when they don't have paying clients yet. And for me, I want my business to make an impact. I believe in giving a lot away. I have done more free calls, like no strings attached, no pitch. Like I want to truly help people. I've done more of those calls than I can count. But at the end of the day, my goal here is I want to have a sustainable, profitable business. So if you do give value and information away, it should be strategic. There should be a reason you're doing that beyond just giving it away. Does this make sense? I feel like I don't want this to be misconstrued. Like I firmly believe in making an impact. I firmly believe in helping people. I firmly believe in helping people who you know can't afford to pay you if that's what you are drawn to. And like, I just want to help you right now, but you don't need to do that for everybody because at the end of the day, you want to build a sustainable, profitable business. And if that's not your goal, then just do it for free and do it as a hobby. And that's perfectly fine as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And the strategy with that, what do you feel is good strategy, bad strategy?
Good strategy is focused. You've got a bigger goal. You've got a vision. You do things that take you one step closer to that vision each time. Bad strategy is throwing spaghetti against the wall and let's see what sticks. It's wasting a lot of time. It's shiny object syndrome. It's the squirrel brain, which as a creative entrepreneur, I totally get it. I have it as well. And I think it's probably fine to have bits of that in your strategy because, hey, I feel like having this conversation with someone just because I feel like it, or I feel like writing this blog post, which isn't part of my, big picture strategy, but I feel inspired to do that. I think that's great. But at the end of the day, there should be a clear plan leading to that higher goal that you have that's in place, that you are following, and the steps and actions you're taking are getting close to there. Tell
me what you interpret as your goal or someone's goal or vision. What does that entail?
I think that to me, that depends. Like, there's a couple things. Say, like, if it's your why or your vision or like your North Star, it doesn't really matter as long as you have like a bigger picture in mind. I always like doing it in two ways. One is like the numbers, like financially, how much do you want to be making? How much do you need to be making so that, you can take those 3 holidays a year or whatever that may be, or take a city trip once a month or something, or get your kids through private school. And the other one is the kind of impact you want to make. Like, how do you want to be remembered? Like, does that mean you want to have a big audience? Or you want to be featured in like big publications, or you want to have more passive income, or you want to work with groups. So that's like a combination of the two is what I feel like the vision is, that kind of like a bigger goal, a bigger picture of you and your business that you're working towards.
Cool. I like that. It's a nice outlook. There's so many offers right now on learning about digital marketing, digital strategy, social media strategist, and all those things. Were you given the chance to speak to high school kids about becoming a digital strategist? What wisdom would you share with them?
At the end of the day, digital marketing is all about experimentation. You can have a great strategy. Obviously I'm a strategist. I very firmly believe how important a strategy is. But at the end of the day, like, you don't know if this particular content or this particular hook is going to work for your audience. So you do still need to keep testing and keep improving. And that's something I feel that doesn't get talked about at all, because we have a lot of experts. I don't mean this in a condescending way, because there are many people I love learning from, but a lot of them have like, here's the way to approach this platform, or here's the way that you have to do like your email launch. That depends. You need to test out what's right for your business and your audience, because different people respond to different things. And with me learning digital marketing and strategy, a lot of that, my background, like how I think and analyze, comes because I've got a master's degree in marketing strategy. But the actual tactics, like how to use Instagram, but what do you write on a blog? How do you do a content strategy? That's all things I've learned with experience and learning as much as I can. Like, that learning part is a never-ending process.
I love that. It's probably the most exciting and fun thing to tell kids in school, is to still keep your curiosity and your imagination, because that's going to help you experiment.
Yes.
And not to suppress it or chuck it away, because we're always told you need to do this or you need to study this in order to be secure. So you've always got your security and everything, but your passion and that flame that's inside of you, that's what wants to come up and show the world. And then we hide it. So I think that's really nice. I like that. It's cool.
Yeah, you're very right. There are certain ways of doing things in online marketing that have been proven to work, like creating content consistently, or that you have an email list, or that you have a reminder email when you're closing an offer. And that like literally, that just works. So there are things that you should just try and test whether they work for you, but that imagination of like stepping out of the box. I did an event last year, the Content Quest. This was like, it was a content batching co-working day with expert workshops and like how do you approach your blog writing strategy, or like how do you batch create graphics. And I was terrified of doing that because in my knowledge, it hadn't been done before. It was a bit maybe weird. It was totally geek themed and fantasy themed. So I was like, oh my God, people are going to think I'm a total like nerd. No one's going to want to work with me ever again. And doing that event won an award and it put me on the map.
Oh, wow.
Like, because I, not to sound arrogant, but because I had like a really crazy idea, I thought it was really fun. I was excited about it. And I said, you know what? I just want to go for it, and might not have worked. Then I would have done something else. But that imagination, especially in online business and marketing, where people want fresh content, they want fresh ideas. Yep. So it's a balance of what has worked for other people, what is kind of like the status quo, the norm of what's proven to work, because that is very, very important. And then you can start breaking the rules.
Yeah, exactly. I just see it in something normal, in inverted commas. When you're watching things like Britain's Got Talent or The Voice or The X Factor or something to that effect, you get all the singers that always sound like gorgeous voices and everything, but you've heard it before. And then someone comes on stage, if they sang the songs the same way that everyone sang, they sound like everyone else, but they bring their own flavor in. And that's where the, in inverted commas, authenticity, which online world loves the word, really shines through. And it's finding that. And I think that's amazing. And you still had your vision and your big goal in sight when you did that workshop or the event that you did. So that was still all in plan, but it was still an inspired action where you just kind of like, let me try this. Yeah. And then it worked. I was like, damn.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. Like I knew I wanted a fun, energized business and brand. I knew I wanted to help people, and so I did it for free. I knew I love content strategy, so I did this was called a Content Quest, and I just said, "Am I allowed to swear?"
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. So I just had like a fuck it moment, and I was like, "I love video games. I love fantasy. My puppy is called Frodo, like from Lord of the Rings. Why am I not talking about this in my business?"
Yeah.
So I went all out with the Content Quest. It was like geek references from the first subject on the first email was "You're a wizard, whatever your name is," which is like a very famous Harry Potter quote. And it was really just, I went from idea to launch in 4 weeks, which I don't recommend. It was totally crazy. But I'll be doing it again this year. And I have a VA and I've got a system in place. And I've got a lot more time now to plan everything out. So I don't have to, be working till 1 a.m. for 4 weeks straight.
Oh, that is awesome. We'll put the link then in the show notes as well.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That would be awesome. I remember also when I was really curious about Facebook advertising, and I did the same, and I did a course, and it was all just plug and play. And I was like, I can't do this. And you pay a lot of money, and I don't mind paying for something, just that's straight, but it needs to be original. It needs to be something that you can adapt. But I was really disappointed with it and then I got kind of like reprimanded when I asked a few questions. I was like, this doesn't work. This won't work. And of course it works. I'm like, so yeah, those kids, keep the imagination, keep the experience. That's important. Yeah, keep testing, exactly, experimenting. I do a lot of that. Do you have any Maggie Giele formulas when it comes to strategy that you apply not only to your business, but to your life or health and wealth?
I do have a formula which I use. So my Slayer Strategy signature program, and that's a breakdown from going from your vision and your business model. So that's like the big picture. What do you want to achieve? What is working? What's not? Doing that review into dream clients, like who do you actually want to be speaking to? And then content strategy and putting together an actionable plan to actually get stuff done. I'm not sure if I actually apply that to my other parts of my life. I use this for my business, for my clients. That's my process for strategy. But I like breaking things down. I like, okay, here's what I want my life to be like in a year from now. What do I need to do this quarter to take myself a step closer? What I need to do this month to take myself a step closer? How about this week? How about today? How about in the next hour? Like, what are these like tiny baby steps I can do so that my life in a year from now looks the way I want it to look? So that's something I do for my business, for my clients, and I try to do it for myself as well. I'm trying to get better at the self-care aspects.
That's a big thing. Self-care and self-love. That's a big thing. So we're coming near the end, unfortunately. And I always ask all my guests 2 questions near the end. It's about my core values, 3 of them, and what your take is on them, and to fill in the blank. So creativity for you is?
Fresh ideas and having fun.
Passion for you is?
Excitement and thrill.
Cool. Roller coaster. Woo!
No, I hate roller coasters.
So do I. Wisdom for you is?
That you keep learning.
That's good. Yeah. How do you want to change the world or challenge the world with what you do?
I want people to work less and get more from each thing that they do.
That sounds enticing. Oh, cool. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had such a good time.
I really, really enjoyed it. There's so much that we could talk about.
Yeah.
It's like, squash everything to 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, my brain span. But we'll definitely have you on the show again.
Oh, thank you.
More things. It's really exciting. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you again.
Thank you so much, Sashka.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.